Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into a market that, well, it touches almost everyone, but maybe you don't think about it much. It's the global baby bath and body market. We're digging into Cognitive Market Research's big report, the Global Baby Bath and Body Market Outlook. Our goal here is to pull out the key insights, how parents globally are caring for their babies and what's really pushing this industry forward. So whether you follow consumer trends, economics, or you're just curious, this deep dive should get you up to speed pretty quickly. Let's jump right in with the headline number. Back in 2021, this market was already worth over $3 billion globally,
That's right, $3.04 billion.
which is pretty substantial for baby stuff. Okay, let's unpack this.
Well, what's really fascinating here is where it's headed. From that $3 billion, it's expected to hit almost $4 billion by 2025.
Yeah.
And then, get this, almost $6.8 billion by 2033.
Wow.
Yeah, we're talking the compound annual growth rate, CAGR, about 6.9% over that whole period. So it's not just growing, it's consistently expanding.
That kind of growth, especially for something like baby wash, it's really striking. What's driving that? I mean, beyond just more babies being born, what are the sort of underlying forces?
There are a few key things, actually. First, there's just a much greater awareness globally about baby hygiene. It's not just soap and water anymore, it's specialized care.
Right.
That ties into rising disposable income, especially in emerging economies. Families can afford and are choosing maybe more premium products.
Makes sense.
And probably the biggest factor, the huge demand for products that are proven safe. Things like organic ingredients, dermatologically tested formulas.
Yeah.
Parents are just really focused on what goes on their baby's skin.
Yeah, you hear that a lot across different product types now. Safety and natural ingredients are huge.
Exactly.
So, okay, the global picture shows strong growth, but I imagine the story gets more complex when you look region by region, doesn't it? Do these trends play out the same everywhere?
That's where it gets really interesting. You see the same things like safety, but how they sort of manifest. Very different depending on where you look. Culture, economy, it all plays a part.
Okay, let's dive into that then. North America, it's a big chunk of the market, right? What's the story there?
Yeah, it was about a third of the market in 2021, $1.18 billion. And it's projected to nearly double, hitting $2.38 billion by 2033. That's a steady 6% CAGR. Pretty solid growth. And the U.S. is leading the charge, expected to reach $1.84 billion by itself. A lot of that seems to be down to, well, established brands that people know and trust, and also this trend towards buying products bundled together, like a bath time kit.
That's right. And adding a bit more detail there, while the U.S. is dominant, look at Canada. It's actually growing faster, a 7.5% CAGR, which is, slightly above the global average.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, suggesting a really strong uptake there. And Mexico's keeping pace, too, set to grow at that global 6.9% rate. So the U.S. is biggest, but its neighbors are definitely catching up in terms of growth speed. Okay, let's hop across the pond to Europe then. How does it compare? Europe's looking solid, too. It started at around $875 million in 2021, projected to reach $1.87 billion by 2033. The TAGR there is about 6.6%.
Just slightly under the global average, but still very strong.
And the big players there are Germany and the UK. They're really driving those numbers for the region.
And speaking of the UK, it actually stands out with a higher CAGR, 7.8%.
Higher than North America, even.
Yeah, and it seems to be driven by, well, two things. Eco-conscious consumers and a growing market for, let's call it, luxury baby care combos.
Luxury baby care. What does that mean exactly?
Well, it's less about gold-plated bottles, haha, and more about premium formulations, organic certifications, sustainable packaging, that sort of thing. It reflects a real shift in values. We're also seeing good growth in France, Italy, Spain, too. Healthy markets all around.
Okay, now for the region you mentioned has some really dynamic growth, Asia Pacific. What are the numbers telling us there? This is where the growth rate really jumps. It's projected to go from about $680 million in 2021 to $1.77 billion by 2033. That's a leading CAGR of 8.3%.
A full 1.5 higher than the global average. It's significant.
Absolutely. And who's driving that?
Well, China is a huge contributor, expected to be over $835 million of that total by 2033. But honestly, the really eye-popping story is India.
India.
Yeah. It's one of the fastest growing markets on the planet for this stuff. It's projected to surge from roughly $84 million in 2021 to over $277 million by 2033.
Wow, that's more than tripling.
Exactly. It's a massive CGR of 10.4%. That tells you a lot about rising incomes and changing consumer preferences in India.
Incredible growth.
And you also see strong performance in places like Australia, nearly a 9.6% CAGR there, reflecting a big push towards organic brands in that part of the world.
So these regional details, like organic focus in Australia or the eco-luxury in the UK, they're not just quirks, are they? They seem to tie into those bigger trends we talked about.
Precisely. They're local expressions of those global priorities: safety, naturalness, convenience.
Before we tie it all together, let's quickly touch on Latin America and the Middle East and Africa, just to complete the picture.
Sure. In Latin America, Brazil leads the way. It's forecasted to hit $170 million by 2033, growing at a healthy 7.8% CAGR. Argentina and Chile are close behind, both growing around 8% annually.
So strong growth there, too.
Definitely. And the drivers sound familiar: demand for convenience, safety, natural ingredients. But maybe convenience means something slightly different there.
That's a really good point. In Latin America, convenience might lean more towards, say, value packs, easy local availability, maybe packaging that's just simple and functional for busy parents on tighter budgets. It's perhaps less about the premium lifestyle convenience and more practical.
Got it. And the Middle East and Africa. Steady growth there as well. Not the huge numbers of Asia-Pac, but solid. Egypt, for example, is expected to nearly double its market size by 2033, reaching about $36.5 million.
Okay.
And other places like Turkey, the rest of the Middle East, they're showing good KGRs, mostly above that 6.9% global average. And e-commerce is playing a big role in making these products more accessible across these regions, too.
So pulling back again, looking at everything North America, Europe, Asia, Latin America, MEA, what's the common thread? What does this all mean when you put it together?
Well, the big takeaway really is this consistent global shift towards premium baby skincare. Parents everywhere seem willing to spend a bit more for perceived quality and safety.
Right. The best for my baby instinct.
Exactly. And that goes hand in hand with convenience and packaging, pumps, easy open tops, travel sizes, anything that makes a parent's life easier.
And e-commerce underlying it all.
Absolutely critical. It's breaking down barriers to access. So what you see is this global baby care ecosystem adapting, using innovation, but also sometimes tradition to meet the needs of, well, these new age parents.
So whether it's the organic focus in Australia or the dermatologist-tested aspect maybe highlighted in Germany or value bundles in Brazil.
The core desire is universal. It's safe, effective, convenient care, delivered in a way that resonates locally.
It really is fascinating how much complexity and growth there is in a market that seems maybe quite simple from the outside. But digging into these trends, like the explosive growth in India or that specific eco-luxury niche in the UK, it helps you, the listener, really get a handle on these subtle but powerful shifts in global consumer behavior.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Consider this. This market, which is all about caring for the youngest and most vulnerable, often acts as a sort of early indicator. Well, the demands we see here for transparency, for natural ingredients, for sustainability, for proven safety, combined with digital convenience, these demands from new age parents might just be paving the way for what consumers will expect across all categories in the near future.
So paying attention to baby wash trends might actually tell us something about the future of, well, everything else we buy.
It's definitely something to think about, isn't it?
Yeah.
How these deep-seated values around health and responsibility are reshaping markets, starting with this very fundamental one.
That's a really powerful thought to end on. Thank you for sharing all these insights. And thank you, our listeners, for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you continue exploring the many fascinating layers of the world around us.
Okay, let's unpack this. If you've ever found yourself in the baby aisle, maybe just staring at all those tiny bottles, you probably felt that pressure, Choosing the right thing for really delicate skin.
It's huge, more than just shopping.
Right. It feels like this deep parental thing. So the question is, how do brands in this really sensitive area actually win our trust? And what's really driving the decisions parents are making? It's a lot more complicated and, frankly, more interesting than you might think at first glance.
It absolutely is. And look, that's exactly what we're trying to do in this deep dive. We're digging into the baby bath and body market.
Go.
We've got this really insightful industry analysis as our source material. It gives a great look behind the curtain, at the key drivers, the big challenges, and also these new trends that are, well, really shaking things up.
So where are we going with this?
Well, we're going to explore what's pushing the market forward, what obstacles are in the way, and critically, where things seem to be heading.
Yeah.
The idea is to connect the dots so you can see why all these dynamics matter, whether you're a parent making choices, a consumer, or just someone interested in how these markets work.
Okay, so let's dive in then. What's actually, fueling the growth?
Yeah.
When you look at the analysis, what's the first big thing that really jumps out? Is it just parents being more aware?
That's a good starting point, but it's a bit more layered than just awareness.
Okay.
What the analysis really highlights is a kind of evolution in how parents think about baby hygiene and skincare. It's not just about, soap and water anymore.
Right, not just cleanliness.
Exactly. It's about a very intentional, almost holistic routine. Think about those combo packs you see everywhere.
Yeah, the shampoo, wash, and lotion.
Precisely. The shampoos, washes, lotions, oils, all designed specifically for newborns. Parents are actively seeking these out.
And why is that? Is it doctors telling them?
Partly that, yeah. Healthcare professionals often recommend a routine, but it's also driven by, online parenting groups, blogs, that sort of thing. So buying these ranges isn't just a one-off purchase. It's like adopting a whole approach. And what's fascinating is this builds really deep brand loyalty, often right from the start. It's about locking in that trust early on.
That makes a lot of sense. Building the habit, the trust from day one. So, okay, a comprehensive approach. But digging deeper, what about the type of products? This shift towards natural or hypoallergenic, we see those words constantly. What's the why there?
Yeah, and there is a compelling why. What's really interesting, according to the analysis, is that this heightened awareness isn't just about avoiding, say, known irritants or harsh chemicals.
Okay.
It's actually evolving into this active pursuit of minimalism in baby care.
Minimalism, how so?
Well, parents are increasingly trying to reduce their baby's exposure to any ingredients they see as unnecessary, even things that might seem perfectly harmless.
Huh. So it goes beyond just natural.
It does. It's almost like a philosophical shift towards, purity and simplicity. It seems driven by an underlying fear of hidden irritants, things you might not even think about.
Right, the unknown unknown.
Exactly. So products that boast about being dermatologically tested or organic or fragrance-free, these aren't just nice-to-haves anymore. For a big chunk of parents, they're becoming like baseline requirements.
Non-negotiable.
Pretty much. So brands that really invest in getting those third-party certifications, being transparent about testing, they're not just earning trust, they're tapping into this really deep parental desire for less but better.
And it's not only about what's inside the bottle, right? It's also how you get the bottle.
Yeah.
This whole digital shift, e-commerce, maybe even subscriptions. That feels like a massive change, too. Are parents really signing up for auto-replenish on baby lotion?
Oh, absolutely. And the analysis shows it's a really powerful growth driver. I mean, think about how exhausted new parents are.
Tell me about it.
Right. So the source material points out that e-commerce platforms and, yes, subscription services, they aren't just convenient, they're practically a lifeline for some families.
Especially in cities, maybe.
Yeah, particularly in urban areas. Getting those bundled baby care kits delivered reliably, on a schedule, it can feel like an act of self-care for the parents themselves.
Takes one thing off the list.
Exactly. It's the ultimate convenience play, and often it comes with discounts, which helps. For the brands, though, this creates incredibly loyal customers. Predictable revenue. It turns a single purchase into an ongoing relationship, all built on making parents' lives easier.
Okay, so we've got this holistic approach, the push for minimalism and certified safety, and the massive convenience of digital. Those are strong tailwinds. But surely it's not all smooth sailing.
Definitely not.
When we look at the challenges, the speed bumps, what's the biggest thing holding back innovation or growth, according to the analysis?
The number one challenge, and it's a really significant one, comes right back to the baby's skin itself, that extreme hypersensitivity.
Wow.
It puts huge constraints on what formulators can actually put in a product. Even ingredients that seem benign or, natural can cause unexpected reactions in some infants.
Which must make parents really cautious.
Incredibly risk-averse. They become very hesitant to try new brands or unfamiliar products, and the knock-on effect is massive.
How so?
Well, it limits product experimentation for brands. It makes developing new products take way longer. And it significantly raises the barrier to entry for any smaller or newer companies trying to, get a foothold in the market. It's like walking a tightrope constantly.
I can definitely see how hypersensitivity limits what's in the bottle. But even if a brand figures that out, the next hurdle often seems to be cost, doesn't it? Especially thinking about making these products accessible.
It really does. The analysis clearly flags price sensitivity as a major constraint, especially if you look at emerging markets.
Right.
While those comprehensive, maybe organic baby kits might seem essential in, say, North America or Europe, in places where budgets are tighter, they can easily be seen as non-essential, maybe even a luxury.
Hmm.
That premium price tag that often comes with organic ingredients or hypoallergenic formulas, it can simply price out a huge number of middle and low-income families.
So it limits how widely these products can actually be adopted.
Absolutely. It really curbs the potential for mass market growth and creates this tension where brands constantly have to try and balance that perceived quality with affordability.
And then, beyond the product and the price, what about all the rules and regulations? Making claims like safe must be incredibly complex.
Oh, it adds a whole other layer of difficulty,
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah.
particularly in developed markets like North America and Europe, using terms like natural, safe, or clinically tested. Those aren't just marketing buzzwords.
They have real meaning legally.
Exactly. They are legally binding claims. They require a ton of research, really careful documentation, and often very expensive clinical validation from third parties.
Which costs money and time.
Significant amounts of both. These strict requirements don't just slow down product launches, they dramatically increase the R&D costs. It's kind of a double-edged sword, right?
Ah.
Well, it absolutely builds consumer trust, which is crucial. But at the same time, it puts immense pressure on innovation, especially financial pressure. It tends to favor the bigger, established players who have the resources to absorb those kinds of costs.
Fascinating. Okay, so those are some big forces shaping the market, pushing and pulling. But let's pivot a bit towards what's new and exciting. What trends are really reshaping things right now? Maybe something a bit surprising for parents who are always on the move.
Yeah, one clear trend the analysis highlights is this growing demand for travel-friendly options, and also for highly customizable baby care kits.
Ah, flexibility.
Exactly. Modern parents need that. They aren't just stocking up on big bottles for the nursery anymore. They want smaller, compact options for trips, for the diaper bag,
Or maybe just trying things out.
or trying things out, or being able to mix and match specific products. Maybe their baby's skin changes or has different needs at different times.
Right.
So these modular combo packs, often easiest to find online, they really speak to this lifestyle where convenience and personalization are just expected. But without compromising on the quality. It's all about fitting smoothly into a busy family's life.
And thinking about broader shifts in society, how much is the whole eco-conscious thing really hitting this market? Are parents genuinely demanding, like, green packaging for baby shampoo? Or is that still pretty niche?
It's way beyond niche now, and it's actually becoming a surprisingly strong factor in purchasing decisions, especially among younger parents, millennials and Gen Z.
Interesting.
The analysis shows brands are really picking up on this. They're actively prioritizing packaging that's recyclable or maybe refillable or even biodegradable.
So it's good marketing, but also,
It's more than just marketing, though it helps the brand image, of course. It's a direct response to what consumers are saying they value. It aligns with broader sustainability goals, sure, but it also signals that a company's values match the family's values. That resonates really deeply, especially if environmental responsibility is important to them.
and one last area of influence we have to touch on. Influencers.
Good.
Celebrity parents. Are these endorsements just, noise? Or are they actually moving the needle when it comes to baby products?
Oh, they are absolutely moving the needle, but maybe not always in the most obvious ways.
How do you mean?
The key thing, according to the sources, seems to be authenticity, or at least perceived authenticity.
Right, it has to feel real.
Exactly. When a celebrity parent shares what looks like a genuine moment using a product, maybe in a quick video or a vlog,
Yeah.
or when a parenting influencer you trust incorporates a certain brand or routine into their actual daily life posts, that builds trust. And it speeds up brand discovery in a way that, a traditional TV ad just can't anymore.
Cuts through the clutter.
Yeah, it's about getting that relatable experience across. It feels less like a hard sell and more like an organic recommendation from someone in your sort of online community.
So pulling this all together, what does it mean for us? as consumers, parents, or even for the companies thinking about the future.
Well, I
It
mean,
seems clear the baby bath and body market is just so driven by what parents think and feel. It's incredibly sensitive to new ideas, but also shaped massively by digital convenience and this ever-growing focus on safety and sustainability.
that sums it up really well. Success for brands here really seems to hang on finding that sweet spot, blending trust, being transparent, and offering real tailored value to parents.
Right.
And if you sort of zoom out, connect this to the bigger picture, it really underlines how these niche markets, especially ones where the stakes feel so high for the consumer, can actually end up being pioneers for changes across wider industries.
How so?
Well, think about the unique pressures in this market. The hypersensitivity issues forcing ingredient innovation, the super strict regulations demanding proof, the growing demand for eco-friendly options. It makes this sector a really fascinating case study in rapid adaptation and evolution.
That's a great point. It's like a testing ground.
Yeah.
Which leads to a final thought, I guess. Given all that pressure, especially for transparency and safety with products for infants, how can brands possibly keep innovating while also trying to keep products accessible and meet those environmental demands in the years ahead? It feels like an incredibly difficult balancing act.
It really does.
Makes you wonder,
Yeah.
what's the next frontier going to be? What will safe and sustainable even look like down the road in this space?